I'm sitting here at the offices of Prudential Preferred Properties in Lincoln Park with Kathleen Cordes, who's a distressed property specialist, among other things. And we've been talking about appraisals and about some of the opportunities out there for investors. So let's talk. What's in your mind this morning?
Well, first off, we were just talking a little bit about appraisals and some of the problems in getting properties appraised today, which is slowing up deals or breaking them. And the government put into place a lot of things to protect us so that there is no fraud. But what happened is it's like a round robin, and sometimes appraisers from out of state. I've had people from Wisconsin or Texas doing appraisals in Chicago.
Ouch.
Yes, where they're, appraising the property by drive-by, and then they're going and taking it comps from a totally different neighborhood. Even though it may be adjacent, it's a totally different value when you cross, say from Bucktown and go across the street into Humboldt Park.
Yep.
Or
Chicago's a block by block city.
Yes, and they don't understand that, and so I find it, and myself, I try to get out to every single appraisal and meet the appraiser there with comps and explain to them, because it's more important than ever. You really, as a buyer, need a real estate agent working with you, an experienced one who's knowledgeable, that can help do this so that the property appraises properly, so that you can get your financing and go through. I've had to nurture deals through very closely because of issues like this, where, for example, a building that I know intricately had other comps that maybe if the person even pulled from the same building, it wouldn't have even looked good. But I could explain to them that this was not an arm's length deal down the hall. It was a corporate relocation, and the corporation took the loss on it just to get it sold. So they couldn't use that as a comp because it wasn't arm's length. Now, there was nothing indicating that in the MLS, and they would have used that comp had I not been there to meet with the appraiser to explain to them in the area, here's these buildings and these buildings, but these are also other lots with 12-foot ceilings and similar type things. These are the ones you want to use as comparisons. These are not the ones you want to use as comparisons, and helping them through because I'm intricately knowledgeable of the neighborhood.
That resonates on a number of different levels, not just from the appraisal standpoint, but I frequently see buyers kind of sneering and saying, what makes that person think they can get more than they bought it for in 2004? Mm-hmm. As you just mentioned, there are deals that are not arm's length deals.
Right.
Where people may have bought way under the market in 2004, and that's why they can justify a higher price.
Right. I always tell my clients, don't look at what they bought property for. That's irrelevant. It's what it's worth in today's market. Just because they bought it 15 years ago at a great price doesn't mean you should get that price that they paid 15 years ago. It's what it's worth today. And they may have bought it 3 years ago and paid more, and they're going to take a loss because of what it's worth today. And I do a real thorough analysis of the area and a CMA anytime we look to put an offer in, so we know exactly what's selling as of recent sales and comparisons. And I mean, every builder should be doing that.
With the market so thin, how do you find good comps today? Because they're with the sales volume down so low.
You know what? Sometimes it's tough. I'll be honest. It depends. Sometimes there's good comps in the area. I try to stay within 3 to 6 months, but sometimes you have to go back a year. But then you have to depreciate that value to what it's worth in today's market. So the comp might be older, but then you just depreciate it, just like a assessor would do. So that you can bring it to what today's value is.
Has the market been falling consistently, or have certain types of property held their value better?
You know what? It's as you said, it's a block by block city, and it's different block by block. Certain buildings have held their value better than others. Certain neighborhoods have held their value. Lakeview's done tremendously well in holding their value. So it really depends. Block by block, building by building.
Let's
how strong the building, if we're talking condos, assessments are, or how strong the reserves are. What's going on in the building also makes a big difference too, and maintaining the value in that building.
Let's come back to, we started earlier, before going on camera, we talked about this being a great time to buy, and that's a very abstract kind of thing. Where are the opportunities that you see, and what kind of opportunities do you see?
Well, this by far is like the best opportunity market I've seen in my career in real estate.
Specifically,
to invest in.
What neighborhoods, what types of property?
Really, all types of properties. It's hit both residential and commercial. Part of the reason I went and got accredited as a distressed property specialist is because there's such opportunity in the past, as an investor, it was hard to pick up a building with a good cap rate or something that would cash flow. You were lucky if you were breaking even. Because of the situation, and so many buildings going into distressed situations, or owners going into distressed situations and having to unload some of their assets, there's a lot of opportunity out there. And as people continue to be displaced from their homes, and fortunately because of foreclosures, they're not going to qualify to buy for several years. So that rental market is only going to continue to get stronger. So anybody who's looking to buy and maintain rental buildings, it's a tremendous opportunity right now for them.
It's possible to get rental buildings in Lakeview, Lincoln Park that cash flow?
I think so, yes.
Really?
Mhm. Yes.
I think people are going to want to hear where those are, because it's
Well,
been a long
they need to get with me.
It's been a long time since. It's been a long time.
It has been a long time, and I'm not saying they're sitting at every other block. They're not. There's rare opportunities in those types of neighborhoods. Those types of neighborhoods are the ones that are holding up the best. But there are over leveraged investors that unfortunately are having been put in some distressed situations. And when it comes to unloading buildings, it's much easier. That, as we all know, it's very difficult to qualify for financing on a commercial building. So part of it is about the vacancy rate. So sometimes they have to put the building on and some of their better buildings on the market to get them out of the situation they're in, because they know those are the ones that are going to be able to finance and they're going to be able to sell. So there is tremendous opportunity out there for investors.
What presumably for cash-rich investors, what types of down payment requirements are we looking at on residential investment property?
Multi-units, apartment buildings,
yeah.
Because anything over 5 units is considered commercial. You're
So
generally
let's say
looking
2 to 4
25
and
to
then
30% down.
25 to 30?
Yeah. I mean, there's exceptions, but in general, that's what it is. And it will depend on the building, the vacancy rates in the building, a variety of other things as well. So, but it, generally speaking, very generally speaking, about 25 to 30% down, sometimes less.
Okay. And let me ask again, there are opportunities in Lincoln Park and Lakeview that can cash flow?
There are opportunities that can, yes.
Okay.